So, you want to be shredded? Well, you've come to the right place. I am not quite shredded yet. I'm probably hovering around 15, 16% body fat right now, but I am on the cut right now. I'm about half a week in, 5 days in or so. And so I'm going to talk to you about everything that I'm doing as a soon to be certified personal trainer, longtime athlete, been lifting for 5 or 6 years at this point, very consistently lifting for 3 to 4 years. And I'm going to talk to you about everything that I'm doing for the cut, from training protocols to nutrition, and some tips and tricks for you. And the first thing is, if you're thinking about cutting, should you cut? And this is going to differ person to person. I would say no matter what, if your body fat percentage is over like 18 to 20%, you should probably consider a cut. You're going to look better, feel better, and you can still build muscle while in a calorie deficit if your deficit is not super severe and if you have enough body fat on your body for fuel. So if you're above 18 to 20% body fat, you can ask ChatGPT, take a photo of yourself without your shirt on, ask ChatGPT and say, hey, what's my body fat percentage? It'll give you a rough estimate or so, and you can use that to determine whether or not you should cut. And maybe you're below that, but you still want to cut, and that's also fine. Maybe you're 14%, 15% body fat, kind of around where I'm at, and you want to get down sub 12. That's where the abs start really showing. That's where you're going to feel very light, very lean, very quick, and that's also fine. Who should not cut? Well, if you're kind of on the leaner side already, kind of skinny, maybe a little skinny fat, you probably shouldn't cut. You should probably focus on putting on some muscle by eating at maintenance or a very slight surplus. And you should be focusing on gaining muscle, because the more muscle you have, the better you're going to feel, the better you're going to look, and it becomes much easier to cut because you burn more calories the more muscle you have. This is why guys who are very muscular, bodybuilders who are very muscular, have an easier time being lean. And I'm not talking like super shredded year round, but at least maintaining below 15%, where most guys are going to be looking pretty good. If you're below 15%, you have a little muscle in your frame, you're going to be looking pretty good. So that's the first thing. Should you cut? The next thing is, do you actually want to cut? That's something to consider. A lot of people casually say in passing, I kind of want to cut. I kind of want to get abs, but they don't want it more than they want the cheesecake that they're going to have that night, or the bowl of ice cream, or the third thing of froyo they're going to have, or anything like that. Now, you can still eat these foods on a cut if you're tracking your calories, tracking your macros, if you're practicing some fasting. You can still have these foods intermittently. Of course, it's not about starving yourself, but you have to actually want to cut. And it's okay if you don't. If you're not at a phase right now where you want to cut and you're just saying, hey, I just want to focus on my health in general, I want to do some cardio, some lifting, but I don't really want to track every single calorie and macro, I got other things going on, that's totally fine. That's totally up to you. You don't have to. But if you want to cut, if it's something where you're seeing TikTok videos or YouTube videos and you're seeing dudes who are shredded and you go, I want that. Or if you're an athlete, you're looking to get quicker. So for example, for me, the reason I want to cut right now is I just hit 315 on bench. Round of applause for myself. That's a lot of weight. 315 on bench, but I'd bulked up to about 205 or so, 205, 208 to hit that. And so I was feeling a little bit heavier for my main sport of hockey, where bench pressing is not that important. That was kind of the bench thing was kind of a side quest that I was doing. But for hockey, it's really important to be quick, to be athletic. You still need to have size on your frame, but very important to be quick. So you have to make sure you actually want to cut. After I hit that 315 bench, I was really carved up, a little bit bloated, very watery. I felt super strong, but I really, really wanted to cut. I was really ready for the point in time where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm ready to cut. I'm ready to go all in for it. And that's good. Okay, so let's say that you've reached this point in the video. You've decided, okay, I want to cut. What should I do? The first thing is macro split in calories. About 100 grams of protein minimum for most guys, and then anywhere from 120 to 150. And if you really like the higher protein or you're a slightly bigger dude, maybe up to 200. You can go beyond that, but here's why I don't recommend that. more and more research has come out that the more you ingest protein, it doesn't have an exponential muscle building effect. In fact, somewhere around 150 grams for most people, again, there are exceptions, the muscle protein synthesis kind of caps off, and you'd be better off having carbohydrates, which are very important for keeping your muscles looking full of water, for energy, because glucose is not only your muscles' main form of energy, but also your brain and your nervous system's main form of energy. It's going to keep your mental health up, your mental focus, and unless you're a professional bodybuilder, you got other things going on in your life. You got relationships, you got school, you got work, you got all kinds of other things going on, and so you need to have that mental dialed right. Cutting should not be you're just miserably starving yourself like Chris Bumstead for the Mr. Olympia. You're probably just trying to look good with your shirt off, feel a little more confident, maybe do something that challenges yourself, which is very good. So macros, for most people, protein, shoot for 150, and if you get over 100, that is golden. You want to get at least about no less than like 50 grams of fat a day, and that's pretty low. You want to get 75 to 100 grams of fat a day. That's really good for your hormonal health, and the rest should be carbohydrates. Now, that sounds like a lot, and in the past, it was kind of a myth. People thought, oh, carbs are the enemy. Carbs are really bad. Now, some carbs can be unhealthy. If you're just having candy and all these other things, it can really spike your insulin and mess up your glucose sensitivity. And so if you're just snacking on junk all the time, yeah, carbs can be bad. However, oats, rice, sweet potatoes, these kind of healthier carbohydrates are so key for muscle growth if you're not on a cut, and in a cut, maintaining higher energy levels, keeping your good pumps in the gym, all that kind of good stuff. Carbs are so important. They're actually the most essential. You need all three macronutrients of carbs, fats, and proteins, but carbs are probably the most essential for your overall mental and physical well-being. We need carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, also really important. So make sure you're having a good macro balance. Another thing too is calories. Ask AI or ask Google. There's all these different calorie trackers. Your height, your weight, your activity level, and find a rough estimate of your calories. You're not going to hit it right on the noggin the first time. That's okay. Take that and subtract 300 to 600 from that number, and that should be good. If you're just looking to get a little bit leaner and you're already pretty lean, you can only do like, you don't have to do 300, you can do like 200 calories, but I think 300 to 600 is where most people are going to see results. And then what you want to do is, as you're eating in that deficit, you're keeping your carbs up, your protein up, hopefully you're staying hydrated with electrolytes. That's another very important thing. You want to be tracking your weight every single day. Yes, every single day, every morning when you wake up, before you've put anything inside of your body, track your weight, write it down throughout the week, and get your weekly average by the end of the week. If the weight is going down, keep it up, keep on the same calories. If your weight is going up, slash your calories another 200 or 300. If it's about the same, slash them like another 100. And keep going down. What you'll notice is your weight might fluctuate day to day based on water content, based on when you had dinner or something like that. Your weight will fluctuate, but overall, if you're eating in a deficit, your weight will go down throughout the week. And if it's not going down, then you need to eat less. Okay, so that's calorie deficit, macros, all those other things. Now let's talk about lifting, because lifting is still very important. Remember, you don't want to cut and lose all your muscle mass. You want to keep as much muscle mass as possible, especially if you're a natural lifter like myself. I'm a natural lifter. I don't have great, super crazy like arm genetics. I had to work so hard just to get this bicep here, which isn't even super crazy. I'm not trying to lose that. I'm trying to keep as much of that as possible. So you still got to be lifting hard. You still got to be lifting heavy. The split doesn't really matter, although I've kind of been seeing that upper-lower splits are really popular, really good for frequency. Push-pull leg is fine, but do the split that you like as long as you're hitting all your muscle groups, because the main thing is stimulus and response. People overcomplicate splits, lifting, all that other kind of stuff. Really what it is you need to hit the muscle hard enough where the muscle fiber tears and give yourself enough rest and recovery and fuel so it grows back. And this is why you have to be careful with cutting, because if you're cutting too much, you're not going to be giving it enough rest and recovery to grow back. This is why it's better to cut gradually and not super extreme and eat like 500 calories a day. You're just having like a single can of tuna. I don't even eat tuna, but you're just having a single can of tuna a day. You're going to feel terrible. You're going to feel terrible unless you're doing some type of fasting, which I'll get into in a minute. So, Where was I? Lifting. What I recommend is hit a split that you like. I personally run push-pull legs, and the reason I do that is because I play hockey throughout the week, so I can't always hit legs 2 to 3 times a week. So sometimes I'm only hitting them once a week, sometimes I'm hitting them once every other week because I'm constantly sprinting, playing hockey. Hockey's really, it builds the legs quite a lot. It's very hypertrophic for the legs. So find a split that works for you, for your schedule, if you're an athlete, whatever it might be, with the goal of building, maintaining muscle mass and strength. And what you want to do is hit 2 sets to failure and make sure you hit a warm-up set too and a warm-up before your workout. Why the 2 sets to failure? Well, this is good even if you're trying to build muscle, but especially if you're in a cut, you want to make sure you're still getting enough stimulus, but you're recovering. So if you do 4 sets to failure, you really dig into that recovery hole quite a bit, and you're going to have a harder time putting on muscle. Whereas if you hit 2 sets to failure and they're really quality sets with good form, you're going to be basically getting 90% or 100% of the stimulus that you actually need to grow that muscle. And that's what's important. And if you just do the 2 sets instead of 4 or 5 or however extra many sets you were planning on doing, you reduce how many resources your body needs to recover. That's why, Mike Mensler's approach and philosophy has been really popular, and people have kind of adapted that. Do what feels comfortable to you. The main thing is stimulus and response. You can work with higher volume. It does work. You can work with lower volume. I think especially for the cut, and I think especially based on the evidence and research that's come out as of recently, the 2 sets to failure method approach works really, really well. Somewhere in the rep range of like 5 to 10 reps. You can go a little lower, a little higher than that. That's fine. But you really want to be pushing that weight because you only grow in the gym if you push yourself. That's how you grow. You have to be upping the weight, upping the reps, upping the intensity. And later into your cut, maybe you're just trying to maintain because you don't really have the resources to keep pushing higher, but you're trying not to fall off a cliff with your strength. So if you thought that going to the gym was going to be never pushing yourself once you hit a certain level, that's not the case. In order to maintain your muscle mass, you're always going to be pushing yourself, but eventually you'll come to really like that if you stay with it. In fact, I saw some Andrew Huberman thing where your brain and body, after your first 2 to 4 weeks of lifting, starts to reward you for lifting weights. It actually makes it feel good. That's why gym bros keep going to the gym, because it actually feels good. Other people are like, why are you doing that? That must hurt and be so painful and so difficult. And they're like, this actually feels good for me. This is actually the thing that keeps me mentally sane at all times. So very important. Let's talk about cardio. Cardio is very important. I see some people saying, if you do too much cardio, you're going to kill your gains, this and that. The biggest issue with cardio is digging too deep of a recovery hole. So if you're doing, a ton of long distance running throughout the week, you make your recovery more difficult. Your body's going to be expending a lot of resources towards that. However, cardio is very important, and you're not going to wither away if you do cardio. For me, I play hockey 2 to 4 times a week, and on top of that, I go for a run or jump rope or basketball another time a week. I basically do cardio just as much, if not a little more than lifting, because I don't do super, super long distance. But any form of cardio is great because it's not only super healthy for you, but when have you seen like a super fat runner or basketball player? You don't see them. Why? Because cardio burns a lot of calories, burns body fat. Really good for your VO2 max, really good for maintaining an aesthetic physique, works other kinds of muscles in your body. So find a form of cardio you like doing. Do it at least 2 to 5 times a week. You can do a little less, you can do a little more. Find what you like. And if you're like, I hate cardio, I don't like doing cardio, I only care about the gym, then just hit the incline treadmill and the Stairmaster for 15 to 30 minutes after you lift, or at other points throughout the week. Maybe you go in on just a separate day and you just hit it for like an hour. At 12 incline, 3 speed on the treadmill, whatever can get your heart rate in between 120 and 140 beats per minute. That's really good. Also 10K steps a day, even if you hate cardio. I don't understand people who don't like walking. Walking is really enjoyable. You can listen to books, audiobooks, podcasts, music. It's a lot of fun. I live in sunny California, so I get to walk by the beach, so it's pretty chill. So cardio is really important for cutting as well, and just for your overall health and mental health. If you're in the gym and you're taking a rest day and you're like, my mental health is so much worse on my rest day because I'm not doing anything, go do a little bit of cardio, go for a walk. Your mental health will be just fine. Cardio is also fun because if you're like me and you like the feeling of pushing yourself and trying new things, then you can push yourself in cardio, because at a certain point in the gym, you've kind of pushed yourself, you've gotten your weight up on a lot of machines, and there's a little less novelty there. It's still fun, but a little less novelty. But if you just like pushing yourself, try going for a run. Try getting your mile time down. That's super, super difficult. I went, as a hockey player, I'm not super good at distance running. I'm pretty good at sprinting. I'm a pretty quick sprinter. I went to the track the other day, and I tried to see how quick of a mile I could run. I think I got like 7 minutes or 7:30. That was difficult, but it was a lot of fun. I got the tunes blaring. Very, very, very fun. A few other quick tips. Stay super hydrated. Lots of electrolytes. Coffee is good. Don't overdo the caffeine crazy. I actually don't do caffeine because I'm just really sensitive to it. I think a lot of gym bros are just caffeine addicts. Caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It just removes the feeling of tiredness. You should be sleeping 8 to 9 hours. You should be showering twice a day. Why? Just because that's good for you. What else? Yeah, electrolytes, calories, coffee, decaf coffee if you don't like all the stimulation. 0-calorie electrolyte drinks. Some people are like, oh, they have colors and dyes in them. I don't know. It's not something I'm too worried about. I like Gatorade Zeros, things like that. Caffeine-free diet soda. Diet soda is fine unless you're drinking like 20 million cans a day. The aspartame's not going to hurt you. And if not, if you don't like that, you can just stick to water. Another tip too is try not to drink too many of your calories unless it's coming from like a protein shake where you're going to be getting a lot of protein and nutrients in. Try not to drink too many juices and things. I know some juices can be good for you, like orange juice or anything like that. If you have that as like pre-workout carbohydrates, that's fine. But when you're cutting, you want as much of your calories as possible coming from food because that's going to help you stay more full when you're in a calorie deficit. So those are some tips. Also, if you're hungry and you're out of calories for the day, try drinking some more water. A lot of times your body's hunger response just goes off and you actually just need more water. You need to stay very, very hydrated, especially while on the cut. Consider taking creatine. Creatine is not just a bulking supplement. It'll help you maintain your muscle mass while you cut. And the last tip that I have written down is enjoy the journey. I think people are like, they'll say like right now it's June 23rd or something. And people are like, oh, I want to get shredded by July 4th. It's not going to happen. Take your time with it because you don't want to lose all your muscle. Take your time and enjoy the journey because cutting is not going to be as easy as you think. But if you do it properly, it's not going to be super difficult and will actually be pretty enjoyable. I was going for a run the other day and I'm already down a few pounds after hitting 315, mostly water weight, not actually like body fat yet. But I felt lighter. I felt good. When you feel lean, you feel good, you feel light. There's something very rewarding about that. You don't have to be starving yourself. You can keep your carbohydrates up, keep your protein full, keep your body nourished with vitamins and minerals even while you're in a caloric deficit. You'll actually be feeling lighter, feeling better. It'll be rewarding because you're looking better when you look in the mirror, and you'll be feeling good. So enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process, especially if you're a young guy watching this, because it's most likely mostly young guys watching this. Totally okay if you're not a young guy watching this. That's totally fine. You can be a girl. You can be older. I don't care. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Take your time with the cut. There's no rush. Why are you rushing? There's going to be other times where you may want to gain more muscle, where you may want to try different types of lifting strategies, where you try different sports, and your body is going to change, and that's totally okay. Don't take yourself or take the process too seriously. But I guess as my last tip, which is actually paradoxical to what I just said, is remain motivated regardless. Whatever you have to do, if you have to keep a motivational playlist, if you have to keep photos that motivate you, some motivational quotes, anything, keep yourself in that loop, all right? There's going to be times where cookies are looking pretty good. Again, it's okay to have a cheat meal every now and again. Actually, a cheat meal about once a week, cheat meal, cheat treat, whatever it is good for your metabolism, keeps your metabolism going because you don't want to tank your metabolism on the cut. But enjoy the journey and keep yourself motivated. Keep yourself committed to it. You actually have to really want to cut. You have to want to be a part of the process of tracking your meals, tracking your calories, tracking your macros, tracking these things. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life, but you do have to commit to doing it for probably like 2 to 6 months at least, and probably more than 2 months. So enjoy the journey, get used to it and realize that it will be rewarding. Don't be afraid to push yourself a little bit. Don't be afraid to try something new. So I hope this helps for anyone who might be on the cutting journey as well. Maybe you're well into it. Maybe you've done a bunch of cuts. Maybe this is your first time. Maybe you're not even wanting to cut right now, but you'll save this video for later and take something from it. So I hope you enjoy this video. Happy cutting, and I hope you have a happy and healthy life, whatever you decide to do.